Hello, welcome back to this episode. And what I want to try and do is, I keep knocking those bushes underneath there, but I'm going to be taking this off anyway. But I need to sort this wiring out because last week the resin sort of dropped onto the wire. I knew I was going to be taking it out anyway, and I've been starting to make the new wires. So, and the reason why I've got all these new ones is these are an 8-way DIN connector, and I want, obviously I've got the fiddle yard where the traction maintenance depot is, 2 lines, and I also want the viaduct at the back working on one. So that's the reason why I'm sort of changing all the wiring. So I need to sort that out, and there's a few other things that I want to work on this week. Also want to sort out the lighting bus, and how I'm going to do that is I'm going to connect, and I've got just a few more little connectors. It's probably not that easy to see, but I'll go through this in a little bit more detail. I just need to drill a hole in each one of these boards, and then have a loop cable to come round, which you'll see it all matches up with the with this type cable, so it'll just be cable tied together, and then you'll plug those in, and then you'll plug the other 2 in, and then that's the lighting bus. And I just want to make that a little bit, so I mean the original plan was to have a lighting bus on each board and then you run it off a battery, but I want to run it all off one 12 volt supply. That's my aim. So as layouts go, you change your mind on how you want to do things. So, and this is what I'm doing at the moment. So it's like I just want to make it look better, easier to control, and just more sort of user friendly, I should say. So, right, I've got a board to put on the side here. So I'm going to take this module off. I'm not sure in the end whether to actually glue that module down once I've got everything finished. So I'm going to just get this apart, get the size measured, and then get that board cut, and then I can do backdrops as well. You know, I'm not sure what I'm going to do on the backdrops yet, but I'm still yet to decide. So you know, but let me get that cut now. Right, that's the backboard all on. Got a bit of sawdust that I need to clean out, like an old seam there. But if I have it's getting quite heavy, but you'll see that I've got all the wiring now in. So, and this is the one from the viaduct. Didn't get quite straight. I was doing it at a strange angle, and then I've got my lighting bus near the bottom there. So hopefully that's all coming out. So I sort of did the lighting bus because I just needed to get it working all on one circuit. I just didn't like having all them random circuits. So first board down, next board, and once you get some sort of back seam on here, you should sort of look the part a bit more. And now it does look a lot darker as you go under the bridge there as well. So also why I had the chance, I painted all this in white, in black, in white. I don't know why I said that. A couple of little bits tidy up there, but and you can see the 2 connectors, one for the lighting bus and one for the DCC bus. Obviously I'm doing it as 4 separate DCC buses now. Well, one of them's going to be just a standard analog shuttle bus, and then there's the 3 DCC buses, so I could run it on analog or DCC. But it just looks a lot tidier painted black as well. So just a tiny little bits to just tidy up where I'd got the masking tape and I just need to peel that bit back off there. So, but yeah, I'm going to carry on getting the rest of this wired now, and I can do some testing. Just a quick update on all the wiring. I've really started to get to grips with this. This is the last board to be finished. So, and I labelled them up, so I've got 1, 2, 3 and then 4 to make it easier, and then I've put the lighting bus in, and then I'm just joining these from the little connector at the top, join each board together, and I'll show you that once we've got it all finished. It's taken a long time though, making all these connectors up, getting all the wiring done. It's not a quick job, so I need to get back to soldering it. I've just decided to have a bit of a break, and about half an hour break, and then get back to some of the wiring. Right, that's the last board all wired up. Tried to do it fairly neat. Still the few odd wires around, so, but it doesn't look too bad. Surprised how many wires. Also, why I've been wiring each board, I've just done the grass texture on the back of the viaduct seam there, so that'll be on all 3 boards, and then I need to put a lot of bushes and everything in there because it won't be just looking flat grass. Look a bit silly. Then I've got to just put the fencing in, and then build the station. I don't think I'll be able to get around to doing that this week, so that's for another week. I don't know if you remember, a few weeks ago I was building these Metcalfe buildings, and I didn't put lights in this one. I put lights in all the other ones, but I haven't put lights in this one, and I fixed all of it together and sealed it all up. So what I've had to do is just cut a slot in the bottom. I've just used just a sharp knife, just cut it out, and what I want to do is put a strip light in the top of here, and I think that should just finish this building off. So, and then the light will just shine down. You won't see too much through these windows of emptiness, because I want to put like something to mount the lights on there. So I need to find my lights now. My lights are in one of these boxes. I keep got old ice cream tubs. Really useful for just keeping stuff in. And I don't eat that much ice cream in a week, but it's over a massive amount of time. So I just think, I'm not throwing that one away. Recycle them or not, I'm not having that. So let's start wiring this up. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is just get a bit of card cut. Don't really care. Move that out of the way. Doesn't need to be any accurate. I'm not even measuring it. It's not even straight, and my ruler moved as I was cutting it then. Oh well, who cares? It's just going in as a girder inside. I want it roughly about that length then. You know what, I do care, and I'm going to straighten it out. It's just right, I think that'll be better. It's because I was cutting it all in one go. Right, now that is nice and straight. Get rid of those pieces Right, LED lights. Right, the last ones I got was had a plastic waterproof film over the top, and it just kept curling up every time you stuck them down. But these seem to be quite good at sticking on their own merit, so I'm going to cut it to about that length. And if you can get the backing peeled off. Nearly. No. Right, I'm going to resort to a gap already there. And there's still still can't get it off. Come on. Right, there we go. Firstly, maybe I could have got that a little bit more in the centre, but not to worry, be alright. Soldering iron. Let that warm up for a minute. I use quite a thick cable actually on this one. Sort of run out of really thin bits of cable, but you're not going to see this so much, hopefully. Try and use the thinnest cables when it's visible, because it's like not very nice seeing a great big cable in running down the side of a building inside when the lights are on. And I've got them a bit long. What I like to do is always test the LEDs in case I've damaged them when I was pulling them off the strip. Oh, they're okay. That's bright. What I've got to do then, make sure the wires come down side that's not going to be visible, I think. So they're going to come out of there. You will see wires just on that end a little bit, so it won't be too bad. Right, glue. And just some structural pieces inside, and I've freed all the other ones up apart from that one, so and then I can just lay those flat so it can be easily sort of glued onto. That's the idea. Good dollop. card to card really sticks well. And one thing, I never used to use this. Now I've found it and you started using it, I won't be at it. I think that's the third bottle now. You do start to go through it. So I need to leave that to fully dry. And while that's happening, I'm going to cut myself a piece to cover the hole in the bottom to stop any of the light bleed coming through. And get this hopefully on the layout then. Now before I've drilled my hole, but before I really glue this down, I want to just make sure I've got enough gap between the platform and the loco. Best locos to use are these Class 08s, I think, because they tend to be the widest. So if you're setting any platforms up, these clear it. All your locos will clear it. So I'm going to glue that in place and then just weigh it down and then connect it to the lighting bus. Now you probably remember a couple of weeks back I said I was going to get this built. Didn't have time when I was putting all the other buildings together. So I took one evening, got this built, shortened it to fit the layout, and the reasonable buildings. They're not outstanding or anything like that, but they're pretty good for what, you know, how much they are and things like that. So I've still got to do some roof vents. Don't like the ones that came with it, so I'm going to make my own on that. And also there is lights that I need to put in here and other detailing items. And all my detailing items. So I've got a hoist there, on my depot buffer stops from West Hill Wagon Works. I've got some rusty old axles. I've got some inspection platforms. They're all been 3D printed. I've got some ladders that I want to go on the side of the building. So for climbing up onto the roof, I need to spray those all silver. And I've got well, that's for the oil depot, a bund walkover. And for the oil depot, a few bits have broken a little bit. I've had it a while, and a bit of my handrails have coming off, so I'm going to need to just repair that. It's nothing to do with whoever I bought it off. I did actually buy these 3D printed. And this one was slightly damaged when I bought it, but I've seem to have made it worse. Which I wasn't expecting to make it much worse than what it was. So, but it comes on it's 3D printed, it's been weathered. I just need to put a bund on it. Take the bottom piece off where it's used on part of the 3D process, and then glue all these parts back on. So put all those in a little bag. Oh, and I've got loads of little depot workers to utilise as well. I've had this several months and it's been moving around one box to another and another and another, and eventually I broke bits. And I have one more item actually. I'm not sure if this is suitable for the this layout. I might use this on another layout actually, because this is like a cooling tower. And don't think it should really be with a factory based cement factory or anything like that, so I might just save that for another layout. I may not build another industrial layout for a long time, but I may. Oh, and I've also got a load of more depot workers and things like that, and several. So that's all my detailing parts. Well, not all of them, but majority of them. I'll pop all these back in here. Need to keep those ones. Let's spray them silver. And I'll just pop that to one side. And in one of these boxes I have some depot lights that I want to fit. Slightly not quite straight. I've got two lots of those, but they are made of metal. You can feel the weight of them. And I bought these. So I don't use these as the really the depot lights, but I don't know if you've seen these. Lots of sellers are selling these. You get 2, 4s, everything like that. But what I use them for is the spotlights. So I'm going to add some spotlights to this depot. So, and it's just basically, I just need to remove plastic cover, just gently, and then I can get the LED out. I think last time I had to you can't really pull it, I don't think. Oh yes, there we go. Don't try and pull it with the plastic, and then you just need to glue that back in, and then I'm going to just use the drill a tiny little hole, and then put one above that door there. Very hard to see because I know my fingers are in the way. One above this door, and then just one above the other door on the other side. And I might just put a couple of spotlights around the building because I've got plenty of these to do. But you just need to put a spot of glue in, glue the LED back in, because the LEDs aren't glued in on. That's why I just get the plastic cover off, and then I can pull the LED. And I couldn't remember how I pulled that LED out, whether I tried to break this part. But one good thing is these stems make really good pipes. So if you need pipes for anything, to go to a boiler house or some sort of oil pipe going across, or scrap metal, just rust them up. And it just creates a bit of a scrap metal scene on the layout without, because otherwise I'd just throw that in the bin. But I'm going to get these spotlights glued in and then start getting them on the building. Right, I've just sprayed all these up. That's just stick them down to the card, stop them moving around. So they're just sprayed up silver. And to be honest, they don't look that much different from the grey, but I think you will see it in a better light that they do look metallic. I probably could have done with painting the all the hoop parts in sort of yellow or something like that, but they're not quite perfect, so they will go up to the roof and just slightly. I think the paint is totally dry yet, so I'm going to put those to one side and use those in a minute. Now, for the lighting, let me just put that there. I wasn't sure if I want to put some lights inside. Because if I put them inside, I'm not going to see the lights inside the inspection pit. I'm not sure about. So, but what I think I will do is I'll put the lights in and then put a separate wire, and then if I want to connect the wire, I can do, and if I don't want them on, obviously I can then just turn it off and I can enjoy the inspection pit lights lighting this up. So I'm going to do exactly what I did before, cut a nice little piece of card, mount these lights on, and then glue it to the ceiling. I mean, I can do that after I put these lights on. So before I drilled the hole, I decided to just use a bit of the off cut. This was the length it should have been, and it didn't quite fit my space, so I decided to alter the building very slightly and just remove that slight bit. So to do that, I had to shorten the window, as there was quite a bit of cutting, but I thought I'd just put a test hole in, because I can't remember what size hole I needed for these. I could never remember. It's like you just tend to think, oh, that's the right drill, that will work. But if I use this and then the plastic piece goes through, and it's fine. I have no idea what size that is. I would probably say 2mm. It's just out of my drill box, but it's not in the right hole or anything like that. So, but I think that will work. So I'm going to do it on this end first, and I'm just, because this is the back end, and if I go wrong, I can cover that up. Maybe I should have put it in the drill. Right, that's the next job. I'm going to put it in the drill. Right, there we go. I'll tidy the wires up afterwards. You've got to remember, these are 3 volts, so don't connect them straight to your 12 volts light, or you just pop the LED and then you have to start all over again. They sort of sit quite nice. Okay, I've got to glue it in and angle it. Sometimes you get a bit of a light bleed and you might just want to put a bit of black paint over there, but that's okay actually. That'll shine down at the entrance, quite nice. And that's why I'm thinking, do I really want the lights on the inside? Because you're going to lose some of the atmosphere lights, like with these spotlights and that really bright light inside. So I'm going to just drop a little bit of glue on there wherever my thin dispenser is. In the other room. Right, I'm going to go and fit the rest of these spotlights. I'm going to put one above the door and one on that end, and then one just on the other side. So I've got all four. Now if you don't want to use resistors, you can actually wire these all in series and it'll create 12 volt circuit, because each one will have a sort of a 3 volt voltage drop over it. But if one LED goes, the whole lot dies. So I'm going to be wiring them to a resistor, and the best way I've found is to tuck your wires right on the edge there, and then maybe use a piece of like the thin card or something like that to hide them. But if you do it on the opposite side to where you view the layout, you never see it. So if I do it on this side, I should say, so you're viewing it from this way, you're not going to see those. If I put it on this part there, you would then see it through the window and then with the lights on. So, and I can do that with all those lights there. Give me a few minutes and I'll get the rest of these in and can start wiring it up and testing it. Right, I've got the lights in and the glue's just drying, and I thought I'd just release one of these ladders from the 3D printed piece, and I was just going to add it in around about here, something like that. I did think about adding one on the other side in the same sort of spot, but I might just add that one on the end there. So I might take that one out and put it in. And I think that will look quite good just on this side. This is the visual side that everybody's going to see. I was going to fit another LED on the other side, but I knocked the LED out and glue hadn't dried fully, so I've re-glued that. But why I can lay it down flat like this, I got a chance to just glue these steps on. So, and that's what I'm going to do now. So apply a thin bit of this glue. Just adding some of this detail like this really does make a big difference. So there you go. Now I know the ladder doesn't actually quite go right down to the bottom. I'm just going to make sure that is straight. And the platform's up to the height of the roof, so that's fine. I can always add a little bit of ladder on if I need to, because if I look at this, there is a little bit at the top that maybe I want to just chop a little piece of that off and just add it in at the bottom, or just leave it at the bottom, doesn't really matter, you know, and say the ladder would then pull down. So I'm going to just gently release this one. Great. These are on the 3D printed items. I am going to have to get my knife on this one, I think. Oh, I nearly dropped it. That would have been a disaster. I was just thinking that one on that end. I think that'll be fine. And then I'll probably need to then put a walkway along the ends of the roof, so you somebody could get to service the air vents, you know, the extraction vents I should say. Next, quite far away from me, so can't see if that's straight. And I can tell that's way out there. Yeah, that should look alright. Well, I've got a few more signs up when I get the traction maintenance depot sign on there as well. So I'm going to go and print that now actually, so I can get those cut out while this glue's drying. Now I've got all the detail added now. Added the British Rail nameplate, a little bit of there with some PP signs and all the lights now. So and I've just put a strip light inside, whether I use that one or not, and I've just put a little bit of copper tape inside just so I could get all the wires done, and just 2 wires out the bottom there. One is the strip light, so if I do want to connect it I can do, but it doesn't make quite a good bit of difference once you add a little bit of detail on there. So I also added some width restrictions signs on the front there, so limited sort of height and width. So that, the last really thing is to do the vents, which I forgot all about. I printed everything else off and didn't think about those, so time to get that on. So I've not fixed it down yet, but I have tested this with locomotives along that other track there. Made sure everything all runs inside. I've cleaned it all and there's enough clearance on everything, so there may be a little bit of light bleed, so I might need to just double check, because if I press that down I can still push, so I'm going to get a little bit of light bleed there. I've got the main lights on, so I might need to put a small base along the bottom of that to prevent any light bleed. We'll try and sort of level it up a little bit more. Maybe a couple of bits of the girders may just need sanding down. But now the problem that I've got with that light bleed, I've now fixed all that issue, and the main problem was I've got these lugs slightly longer, so I've sanded all those down, just a gentle sand on all those, and that now sits much better, much flatter. Just got it in the right place, so that is fixed out. I am going to fix this down, so track cleaning can be an issue, but I've made sure everything's fully clean, and then to prevent any dirt getting on the track I've just used the just graphite, which weathers it in as well. And then as long as you don't use traction tyres, you're fine, because this will make traction tyres slip, but it also makes electricity conduct even better. So, and I've made sure everything does work. I've only got it running on this battery at the moment. But everything's running nice. and there's enough clearance on both the tracks, so that's all fine. So I'm going to get this fixed in and then wired up. That's it with the lighting circuit all connected. So you can still just see the inspection pit lights. I did try it with a 750k resistor, and that dulled the lights down quite nicely, and you could see, but I think it was a bit too dull. So I'm going to sort of swap it to a 300k, not 300 ohm resistor. Sorry, not 750k, but 750 ohm. But I'm going to swap it to a 300, something like 300 or 400 ohm resistor, and that should just drop the light level inside, just be perfect. But you can see we've got the lights on, lighting circuits now working on all the buildings, and I think I'm going to drop the lights level in the factory buildings. That's not looking too bad. It's showing some of the detail that I've got in there. So there is somebody in the signal box as well, so, and we start to put a little bit of detail on the inside as well. So you can see there's plenty of room for locos in the shed. Made it just big enough but not oversized for this layout. So you would get a class 45, 46 in there without any problems. Should get class 50 in there. I've just been putting together a base for the fuel depot. Need to tidy it up a little bit. It was a little bit rough around the edges, but should be okay once I've done a little bit more tidying. I think I just should have let glue dry a little bit longer, so I've got a little bit to repair on there, but that's how that will fit in. And then and what I have done is I've sprayed the bun steps and the sort of inspection steps for the loco in the metallic silver, and I've also painted little 1.5 ton, I think it's 1.5 ton crane hoist. I sprayed that all in yellow, and that looks okay. I think hopefully all the paint's dry. Yeah, that's alright. Just got to add the black detailing on those, so that's what I'm going to try and do. Just drop that little depot on the layout for the moment. I'll show you sort of where it's going to sit and how it's going to look, but let's just get this detail added. That's a lot of black paint. And I really need a little bit more magnification. My eyes just aren't doing me justice at the moment. But the yellow sprayer actually was in Halfords. No idea what colour it actually is, but I was just having a look at the spray paints in there, and I thought, right, am I going to paint this by hand? The last one I painted by hand, it turned out okay, but it's a lot quicker and easier to spray it. I had to do lots of coats because I didn't use a primer, which I should have used a primer. And just need to paint this hoist now. You can buy all these pre-painted, I prefer to just paint my own, really, when they're not difficult. A little bit more paint that. I was going to actually, I wasn't going to paint these chains, but I painted them in yellow, so I could have done with painting them in silver. It's taking a bit longer than I was expecting. And I've got it wrong. I've gone on to the yellow. I'm going to have to get a bit of yellow paint out and touch that up. When you try and do it on camera, you try and rush. I'm going to paint the motor as well. No, I won't have that yellow. Looks a bit odd. Oops. I've got a bit more where I didn't want it. But that's okay. And I need to do a similar sort of thing on the wheels on these trolleys. So, but I'm not going to do all that on camera. Because like you've already seen me painting a bit of that and messing it up. So let's have a quick look at the fuel depot on the layout, and I'll just show you sort of how it's sort of going to look. I still need to do a little bit of tidying up on that. As you can see, I have got a few rough edges where I need to redo the textured paper, but that's going to go somewhere like that. I need to put some ballast inside here, and then those bun snaps can go across. But it's not as tidy as I was hoping it'd be. You know, these are actually the walls from the viaduct, and I've just used like a bit of a slightly different concrete pad to sit it on. So some work, yes, needs to be done on that to get it to look better. Because even by eye, it doesn't look great. So close inspection, so it's not my best work. But the rest of it's starting to look quite good. One thing I've had to compromise on a little bit. Let me brighten that up and try. I'll get a better angle on that. I was just saying, one thing I did have to compromise on a little bit is sort of space here. So it does come quite close to the shed. There's plenty of room. Ideally that would have been set a bit further back, but I couldn't set it any further this way, the engine shed, because of the way the board joins. So, but everything runs pass. That's the longest coach, a HST coach. So, and that all fits nice. It's not absolutely perfect, but there is compromise on layouts like this. So you can see what I mean by the fuel depot. There's rough edges. I might just start it again because I'm not totally happy. With that crane hoist I've just been working on, I want to put somewhere sort of around here or something like that. Possibly the other way around. So I've got a bit more space. Probably about there. And I thought that'd probably be okay like that. And then there's some other detailing parts. I do have like rusty wheel axles to put on. I need to put my just a little character just coming out the doorway there. A little bit of fun, but I'm not sure I can get that much more done tonight. Really, I'll hopefully. I mean, the plan was to get these loco sort of ones and get them like here, like that. But I've realised I can't leave these on the layout. These will have to be, because the layout splits at this point. So I might have something slightly different. So maybe they sort of, we can have these here, the loco an engine, you know, or well, a loco could be then parked up in here, and where the cab is, something like let me, so oh, I think I'm derailing there. So I could have something like that. Not quite perfect really. I mean, we might be better off. Steps the other way around like that. Don't think I'd need steps on both sides. I can use that one on another part, but I think something like that, you know, might be fine. Right, I'm going to leave it there for this week. I'm going to carry on trying to finish that fuel depot, and a little bit extra on the painting. Just need to touch up a couple of bits where I've gone wrong, but hopefully you've enjoyed watching this episode, and I'll get back and I get a lot more detail on the traction maintenance depot. My aim is to try and get this finished, the depot side, and then I can work on the station. I haven't still got it fully working yet. I've still got 2 jumper cables yet to wire, so I'm going to rewire that in the morning, and then do some testing on the layout and get that running. But I'm going to leave you today, and hopefully we'll see you on the next episode, and have a good evening or a good rest of the day whenever you're watching this, and take care.